I'm very excited to share with you the update you're scheduled to receive on March 2nd, 2023. I'm going to take you through some of the new features and some of the feature enhancements that are going to be included in this update. The first feature we're going to talk about is versions. So you can now create different versions of your transcript and upload those back to the job in AutoScript Web. Let me walk you through what that looks like. So I'm going to open up this job, State versus D's, in AutoScript Desktop. The first thing you notice is a splash screen that lets us know that AutoScript Desktop is opening. And it opens. And it's now going to ask me the name I want to give the job. So this is the first thing that's going to look a little different to our users. It will suggest the name. This happens to be the name from the job. And since I don't have any versions that exist in the web right now, its only option is to import the ASR transcript. So I click OK. And now it's downloading the audio file. This is the new Layouts library window that we're going to go over in great detail in just a little bit. But for right now, I'm going to assign this layout style with this associated template, and I'm going to apply it to this job. And of course, I have to position the ASR cursor where the text should be inserted. And insert ASR text. That was quick. I'm just going to make a couple of quick edits on this one so that we can create a second version, or our hypothetical edited version of the transcript. All right, I've changed Speaker A to Miss Seligman. I'm going to change this to the witness. All right, and just so that we can see it was a couple of changes, it's not even formatted right. Now I'm going to upload my edited version of this transcript, and I go to the Home tab. And I simply click on the Upload to AutoScript Web. And it is now updating my edited version of this transcript. And I click OK. And I'm going to close this again. And we're going to hit this back button so you can see what it looks like when we have two versions of the transcript. So I'm going to once again click the Open in AutoScript Desktop. It is again going to launch AutoScript Desktop. And it tells me I have a job with the same description, same name and description, because I did the original version and now I am showing you a different version on the same laptop, which would not normally happen. Normally I would be the person editing or doing the first pass on the transcript. I would upload it and then somebody else would be downloading it, perhaps to proofread it. So now I have the original ASR version still available to me, but I also have this version that we edited just a moment ago. So I'm going to give it a different name just because they're both on the same computer. We'll call this edited, and I'll click OK. Just so you can see that it's going to download the audio files again. And it's going to download the version that we edited just a few moments ago. And here it is again with the changes that we made. So there is no limit to how many versions of the transcript you can have. It knows what job it came from. So simply by clicking that upload button, it will upload the version of it that I've been working on back to the originating job. So the next change we're going to talk about is the menu ribbon across the top of your application. This has changed. The first thing we'll notice is that we have a job tab. In the job tab, we're going to have access to the tools that pertain to newly imported jobs, including if we're going to do a CAT system export. But let's look at some of these in detail. So new job hasn't changed any. We still have to go to the AutoScript website to run our audio files and turn them into a rough draft transcript. We now have a jobs folder, and not only can we have a visual of all of the jobs in our computer or in our system, I can open a job from here by clicking on open. I can filter for a job name. I can do a search for a job name. But most importantly, I can delete a job that I no longer want. So I'm going to take this one. I click delete. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'd like to delete that job. I can still import a job as I did before. If somebody sends me a zip folder of a job with the audio and the transcript in it, I can import. I can export a job I'm working on just as we did before. Layouts library, we're going to go into detail in just a little bit. So the File tab now only contains the things that we're used to seeing in our regular word processing programs under the File tab. So to open a document, save as, we can now do quick print, a print preview. This is a nice new feature if we're going to actually print our transcript. And this is where I sign out of the program if I need to log out. This also is where I can open and grab log files and send them to support if I need help with something I can't resolve on my own. The next thing we want to look at is the Home tab. So we've moved some items that were under File before into the Home tab. And we did this because typically a user is going to live in the Home tab while they're actually editing and working on a transcript. So we moved the tools that are pertinent to us while we're working on a transcript. So this is where I can view the current job layout, which I don't have a job open right now. This is where I can access my ASCII export. And as you saw me do earlier, this is where I can upload my edited version back to the job on the AutoScript web. It's where I access my hotkeys and my options window, which of course give me my options for follow play and the custom settings for my foot pedal. The rest of the tabs are going to be pretty much like you're used to on a word processing program. You'll see that we have opened up some features that weren't there before, where I can go in and make some modifications to the page layout. I can, I can click on View if I prefer to work with the rulers, which I personally do. And under Review now, you will see that we have the ability to add comments. Plus, we have an enhanced spell check. So not only is spell check itself been enhanced, you now have the ability to import a custom dictionary. So many of us were working out of Microsoft Word for many, many years doing transcripts, and we've built extensive custom dictionaries in our Word program. On our website, you will find the instructions for exporting that custom dictionary and adding it here. Why lose the work we've already done? And that about covers the changes that we've made to the layout of the menu ribbon. And now we'll go on to the next item. So let's talk about the new Layouts library window. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how this impacts how we start a new job. So I have already initiated the download of a new job, and it of course opens up my layouts library. If I already have layouts set up in here and I just want to assign one like this, I can apply it to this job and it will open the job with this layout and template. What I want to talk to you about is the importance of marrying a template to a layout. So previously we had to select our layout and then we had to do another function to find the template in our computer to use to start the transcript. So what we do now is we actually marry that template to that layout. So as you can see in this example, I have my New York depot layout that I have created over here, and I married the New York depot template to it. I thought it would be good if we went through creating one together. So to start, we have two options for creating a new layout. I can click on any layout in my list and select duplicate, and this will create a duplicate copy of that layout for me to start with. Another option we have is to click this plus button at the top, and we'll do that, and it's going to create a new layout based on our default. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to give it a new name, and we're going to call this one Indiana Depot. The next thing I need to do is actually go and find the template that I'm going to marry to it. And so I'm going to browse my computer. I'm going to select this one here. And now this layout and this template will forever be married to each other. Till death do they part. Now I have a couple of other options in this window. I can actually edit the template if I need to by clicking on this button, and it will launch an editor with the template in it. I'm going to close that for right now because I don't need to do anything to that template. Now here's the big change. Now I'm going to edit the layout, and the layout, if we all remember, are the set of formatting tools that we use for the edit tools in the document that we're working on. So I'm going to click on edit that layout right now. This will open the layout editor window. So instead of having to click in each different format tool, we now have a clear view of all of the format settings and access to make any of the changes we need quickly and easily. So setting up a new layout is a much more streamlined process than it was before. So what I'm going to do is start at the bottom. I like to always start with colloquy, and I'm going to select the down arrow. And of course, as always, if you're using a very simple template that does not have complicated style requirements like hanging indents for colloquy or Q&A, you can always use one of our preloaded AutoScript format tools or styles. This transcript does have some requirements for colloquy and Q&A, so I'm going to select the colloquy style that we already have created in this template. I'm going to use normal for the byline because typically your normal style is going to get you to the left margin, which is where we're used to seeing our byline. I'm going to edit this right in this text edit window by making that BY capitalized, and I'm going to add my space. We're going to go up into Q&A, and I'm going to select the Q&A style that we have built in this template because this Q&A style actually has a hanging indent, and I can show you what that looks like. These are my section headings. Of course, we have stock predefined ones for you. You can change them as you see fit. If I decide that further cross-examination should be hyphenated, I can just type right in that text edit field without having to open up another window. I'm going to use AS heading, which is standard for centering this text in my document. And of course, by clicking on the down arrow, I can change that. I can click on the plus arrow if I want to add any that are not currently here. I can hit the trash can if I've got more than I need because I will never use further recross or further redirect. Right? Maybe it's just not in the requirements. So we can minimize that list. So quick parentheticals, the same thing. How do I want the parentheticals to look? And in this document, they need to be flush left. So I'm going to make that quick change here. And again, if I need to make any edits, I can do it right in this text field. I'm going to show you here quick text. Quick text can be something that has multiple lines. Perhaps it's the introduction of a new witness and the witness's name needs to be in bold. So I need this to be left aligned. And I need to add the witness's name, and I need the witness's name in bold, and it needs to be centered. So for something a little bit more than just editing the text, I can click on this text editor. Let me pull this back down in our viewing area. And this is left aligned the way I want it, but I'm going to add the witness name. And I don't know what the witness's name until I get into a transcript, so I'm just going to add brackets. And I need the witness name in all caps. So I'm going to type it in all caps. And I'm going to select this to be bold. And then I close it when I'm done. And we see the result of it in this text edit window. And you can do the same thing for any of the format tools. So let's look at the speaker list. And we're going to add a couple of speakers for this job because I know who the attorneys are. And it's going to be Seligman, Atriano. This is going to be Miss Seligman, and this is going to be Miss Atriano, colon, 2 spaces. Everybody asks me why we want to set up the speaker list with the colon and the 2 spaces. If we do the colon and 2 spaces, when I use it to insert a colloquy where one did not exist, it's going to insert it in the proper format. And remember, the speaker list is also used to populate the byline. Now, another new feature in our layouts is that we can reorder any of them. So if I want the court to be at the top because I'm doing a trial, I can reorder the court to appear at the top of my list. I'm going to close out of this because I'm done. I'm going to apply this to the job. And of course, it's going to ask me to insert my cursor where the ASR needs to go. And I'll scroll down to right here. And we will insert the ASR. And now I'm going to make this window a little smaller and let's get it in our viewing area here. So who hasn't had to transcribe a court proceeding where we thought we knew who all of the participants were and partway into a transcript we hear a new speaker. So I didn't have them predefined in my speaker list. I can at any time from the Home tab go to Current Job Layout. It will open that editing window, and I can add a speaker. So I don't have to go into a Layouts folder anymore and click down several clicks to get to the speaker list just to add a name. I can do it quite quickly so as not to impede myself in completing my work. And of course, I promised I would show you. Let's do a Shift Home, Control 5. You pull this into our viewing window, and I'm going to make this a question from the questioning attorney. Oh, and it looks like I have one too many spaces after my Q, which my A symbol will be the same, and I'll have to go back and fix that. But you can see that the format tools are the same as they were before, same keyboard shortcuts. I can right click and access them. And of course, don't forget, we can custom set what our hotkeys are to accessing those format tools. So this pretty much should cover the changes in layouts. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to one of our customer service representatives or our product experts, and we're happy to walk you through it. There is a corresponding document if you'd like to read something while you're watching this video. Both the video and the document on what is featured in this update are located on the support page at VoiceScript.ai. Thank you.